Hey everyone, welcome back to TruthLens, where we separate fact from fiction. Today we're tackling a question that many of you have probably heard. Do cell phones cause brain cancer? With so many people glued to their phones these days, it's important to know if there's any truth behind this concern. Let's dive into the science to figure out if we should be worried. How do cell phones work? Before we jump into the health risks, it's important to understand how cell phones actually work. Cell phones emit radio frequency radiation, RF radiation, which is a type of non-ionizing radiation. This is different from the ionizing radiation that comes from things like X-rays or nuclear material, which can damage your DNA and potentially lead to cancer. Non-ionizing radiation, like the kind used by your phone, doesn't have enough energy to break DNA or cause cancer in the same way. However, some people are concerned that long-term exposure to RF radiation might still cause health issues over time. The concern: RF radiation and brain cancer. The concern about cell phones and brain cancer comes from the fact that we often hold our phones close to our heads when talking. This has led people to wonder whether the RF radiation from phones could increase the risk of brain tumors, like gliomas or acoustic neuromas. Some studies have found a possible link between heavy, long-term cell phone use and an increased risk of certain types of brain tumors. But these studies are controversial because they rely on people recalling their phone use over many years, which can be inaccurate. What do the studies say? So what does the research actually show? There have been many studies on this topic, but the results are mixed. Some studies show no connection between cell phone use and brain cancer, while others suggest a small increased risk for long-term heavy users. For example, a major study called Interphone, conducted across 13 countries, found no overall increased risk of brain cancer from cell phone use. However, there was a small, possible increased risk for people who use their phones for more than 10 years. But the researchers couldn't prove this was caused by phones alone. The National Cancer Institute and World Health Organization, WHO, both state that the evidence linking cell phone use to brain cancer is inconclusive. They agree that more long-term studies are needed, especially with newer phones that emit lower levels of radiation. What about 5G? With the rise of 5G technology, some people have grown even more worried about cell phone radiation. However, 5G uses higher frequency RF waves, but the radiation is still non-ionizing. That means, just like with earlier generations of phones, 5G doesn't have enough energy to damage your DNA or cause cancer. So far, studies haven't found any significant evidence that 5G is harmful to human health, but researchers are continuing to study it. Safety measures. While the evidence isn't clear on whether cell phones cause brain cancer, it doesn't hurt to take precautions, especially if you're a heavy phone user. Here are some simple steps you can take to limit your exposure to RF radiation. Use speakerphone or headphones. This keeps your phone away from your head and reduces exposure. Text instead of calling. It's a good alternative for quick conversations. Limit phone use when signal is weak. Phones emit more RF radiation when trying to connect to a weak signal, so try to avoid long calls in areas with poor reception. Don't sleep with your phone next to your head. Keeping your phone away while you sleep can reduce exposure. The bottom line: should you be worried? At the moment, there's no strong evidence that cell phones cause brain cancer. The studies that do suggest a possible risk are limited and often rely on people remembering their phone habits from years ago. Health organizations like the American Cancer Society, National Cancer Institute, and World Health Organization all agree that more research is needed, especially as phone technology evolves. That said, if you're concerned about the potential risks, taking simple steps like using speakerphone or keeping your phone away from your head can help ease your mind. So, do cell phones cause brain cancer? Right now, the answer seems to be no, but it's still a good idea to use your phone wisely. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more fact-checking videos from TruthLens.